This video is sponsored by Loot Crate.
So we have the new entry into Ben Kenobi's journal, and it's a good one. Hey guys, welcome to my Geek Talk. Today we are going to discuss Star Wars number 15, the second issue of Ben Kenobi's journal, which of course Luke has found in, I forget which issue, I think issue 6, and he's been reading through it throughout the new Marvel comic series. And yes, I am wearing a Rebel Alliance onesie because I thought it's appropriate for a Star Wars video. I didn't actually buy it for this channel, I just bought it just out of random. But anyway, let's talk about the comic book itself. It's been a year since the last issue, which was about the drought of Tatooine and how, you know, farmers were going through a hard time. And now everything's fine. Ben is still looking after Luke, and in this point he's watching him fly through Beggar's Canyon, and he's like observing how in tune he is with piloting and wondering, hey, he might be manifesting the Force. Like, he doesn't know for sure yet if he's a Force sensitive. He doesn't know yet if he's a Force sensitive, but judging by how he's navigating this canyon, he expects as much. There's also the inclusion of Biggs and the gang, which are from the deleted scenes of Star Wars A New Hope. If you're not familiar with it, there was this sequence where they show Luke telling his friends, hey, there's like a Imperial starship in the sky, like destroying this little rebel ship, and like no one believes him because like the battle's over by the time they get out. There's this whole thing on it, but it's cool that they kind of added them in there. Like we did see Biggs in the special edition where he pilots with Luke. We see them talk before they go off to defeat the Death Star and all that, but it's cool to see like the other gang, including the girl and the two other guys that were there, and they're saying like, Luke, you can't do it, you're crazy, you know, he's this crazy like pilot. Now the artwork in this is awesome. It's like in between lifelike but still very much a comic book. There's a really good mix, and there's very good poses and facial expressions throughout. Like, it doesn't really look like a young Mark Hamill, I would say, but it definitely looks like Luke, if that makes sense. Like, it looks like a boy, you know, it just looks like, and then like his expressions and then the way he's acting with Owen and things like that, not just by the written speech bubble, but by how he's expressing himself through movement. And that's funny how I would say, like, I can tell how he's moving in a sense when it's still a comic book, but that shows a really good artist and a really good depiction of what they're trying to convey. And I think this comic does that very well, even in the conversations that they have between each other. Like, you can tell from their expression on their faces. You can see excitement, you can see fear, you can see anger, you know, you see all of that in the panel, and that was all done really well. And it has very dynamic color in terms of like the shadowing on the face and just the difference in color. There's like some really awesome shots in here that I would use as like a wallpaper on, you know, one of my computers or something like that. So yeah, very awesome artwork for sure. And that's what we should expect from a one-off comic, which this is. You know, it's like kind of an in-between comic for all the Star Wars Marvel lineup. But enough of that. What about the story? So going forward, Obi-Wan looks for ways to keep busy. Obi-Wan goes to help the Jawas because they were being attacked by Tusken Raiders and all that. And Obi-Wan says that he finally feels like a Jedi again because he's helping somebody and protecting them. And also he gets to, like, you know, kind of work out a little bit, you know, fighting Tusken Raiders. But at the end of the fight, he does say like, oh, okay, I can't keep this up forever. I can't like keep fighting them, which is probably why, you know, in A New Hope, we hear the Great Dragon Call and him, you know, using that to scare away Tusken Raiders because it's a little bit more smart, which is cool. You know, it's cool to see that he's going away from the Obi-Wan of the physical realm, which is where he was before, to the more esoteric force power Obi-Wan that he becomes, you know, in A New Hope. So I kind of like that bridge, and that he makes that realization, like, I can't keep this up forever. I can't keep up this like fighting, you know, dozens of Tusken Raiders every night and that kind of thing. But going forward, he still keeps meddling into Luke and his life, even though Owen told him specifically not to. This time he does it since he's working for the Jawas, he gives Luke these repair units for a Skyhopper that he destroyed in the beginning of the comic. You know, Owen kind of figures out what that came from. He's like, the Jawas don't give away anything for free. Like, what is this? And he knows that it's Obi-Wan giving Luke these supplies. And he makes a really good point. They have like an argument about what protecting Luke means, or what they should do with Luke. Obi-Wan, he kind of wants to, like, since he sees the Force kind of manifesting in Luke, he wants to train Luke. And, you know, he thinks he's destined for something else, you know, and he would, you know, want him to defeat Vader and Palpatine and all that kind of stuff. But then Owen, he's like, no, like, I'm trying to protect him not just from, you know, Vader or Palpatine or anybody who is coming to look for him, but I'm protecting him from you. And that's a really good point. You know, Owen just wants a really good life for Luke in the sense that he doesn't want him going out on adventures and getting killed like Anakin was, or what he suspected Anakin, what happened to Anakin. He thought he died in the Clone Wars. And that's kind of, in a way, and that's, if you really think about it, like, Kenobi is really just there to train him as a Jedi, or, you know, to bring him back into the fold of galactic conflict. And really, like, is that the best thing? Like, is that the best thing for his life? Obviously, it's the best thing for the galaxy at large, and, you know, but is it Obi-Wan's right to put that onto Luke, you know, to say like, oh, you have to be the galaxy's savior, that kind of thing. That's kind of like the whole superhero mentality, like a conflict they always have, is like, yeah, I have this power, but do I owe anything to the world or to the galaxy? And that's something that I like that's coming up in the new Superman, or actually, was that in Man of Steel? No, I think it's coming up in the new Superman, where Superman's mother is like, you don't owe anything to, you know, the world, you know, like, and that, I think that's just interesting to think about. And that conversation, that argument, I think was probably one of the better scenes in the comic book itself. And the comic ends with a cliffhanger. There's actually going to be a crossover with a new comic book character into Kenobi's storyline, which is going to be kind of interesting. It's another character we've seen from the Star Wars lineup, and yeah, that'll be kind of cool to see. But I like this comic a lot. Like, I really like the Ben Kenobi journal stuff, and I like to see what he was up to in the deserts of Tatooine while he was looking after Luke and just coping with, you know, being a Jedi who can't really be a Jedi anymore. I think that's very interesting, and I think they are dealing with that very well. I like the ideas and the conflicts that are coming up out of the series, and just it's more introspective, because we all know what's going to happen in terms of the storyline with all these characters, but it's really about character insight and getting more ideas into what's happening with them. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching my review. I'll be doing another one hopefully soon. Of course, peace, love, and may the Force be with you always.
What I've seen in a lot of debates is that people, including myself, either lowball Mace or lowball Sidious to achieve their point.
Throw a grenade at him. Alright, now critical strike. Oh, I killed him. Oh no, I didn't mean to throw two. Oh, that's such a waste. Such a waste.